Hi everyone, and welcome to the 7th episode of Torqueconomics Weekly Automotive Update. This video covers the week of 1st to the 8th of March 2025. Let's dive right into the headlines of the week. Starting off with some sad news that Mercedes walked back the rumours of the new C63 getting a V8 in an official statement, although there is a new flat crank V8 coming for the brand, already confirmed in their CLE model as well as likely to be in the upcoming E-Class. The consolation here is that there is a possibility of the new C63 getting a 6-cylinder given the 4 cylinders unpopularity. Let's now turn to the headline news. On the 4th, President Trump's administration announced a 25% tariff on all imports from Canada and Mexico, a move that has sent shockwaves through the automotive industry. Major American automakers like GM, Ford and Stellantis saw their share price drop sharply on the day of the announcement. In response, automakers moved very swiftly to mitigate the damage. For example, Honda immediately announced that production of its new Civic would shift from Mexico to Indiana. However, due to the severity of the impact, the White House granted a 1-month extension exclusively for the automotive industry. This was a concession made after automakers lobbied for relief. Note that this extension expires on the same day that reciprocal tariffs from other nations take effect, and is not expected to be extended. Let's now take a look.
We spoke with the big 3 auto dealers. We are going to give a 1-month exemption on any autos coming through USMCA. Reciprocal tariffs will still go into effect on April 2nd, but at the request of the companies associated with USMCA, the president is giving them an exemption for 1 month so they are not at an economic disadvantage. So the 3 companies that he spoke to are Stellantis, Ford, and General Motors. They requested the call, they made the ask, and the president is happy to do it. It's a 1-month exemption.
The seesaw effect of tariffs took a toll on the industry regardless. It is unlikely that manufacturing will be able to shift in a meaningful manner within 1 month, and US consumers should expect increasing car prices in the short to medium term. Stellantis committed to building more cars in the US with these uncertainties, in spite of higher labor costs which will be passed on to consumers. Now we talk about Tesla. Tesla's February sales numbers released and they are not looking good. For better or for worse, Elon Musk has a polarizing personality, and it has not contributed positively to the brand image of Tesla. Internationally, in Germany, sales fell by 60% year-on-year, while in Australia, the drop was even steeper at 65%. Most concerningly is China, Tesla's second largest market, where sales dropped by almost 50% year-on-year, leaving the company with only a 3% market share in the region. Back at home, Tesla's domestic numbers were strong until January. Following Elon Musk's politically charged speech at the inauguration, both sales and share price declined noticeably within the next 2 months, reflecting growing investor concerns about the brand's direction. Despite the stiff competition, the largest EV brand in the world, BYD, has pledged to work with Tesla against internal combustion vehicles. BYD said it was open to sharing some key technologies in EV development. BYD themselves are doing quite well financially, having just launched a further $5 billion share sale in the week based in Hong Kong as they look to expand globally. Although BYD currently has no plans for the US market, given Biden's 100% tariff against Chinese EV imports initiated in 2024. BYD's efforts to combat ICE vehicles come at a challenging time in Europe. The EU recently relaxed emission rules for petrol cars, a move driven by European automakers' struggles to develop competitive EVs. This protectionist stance raises concerns that China could further extend its lead in the global EV market. Let's now take a look at the speech from the EU Commission President this week.
I will propose a focused amendment to the CO2 standards regulation this month. Instead of the annual compliance, companies will get 3 years. This is the principle of banking and borrowing. The targets stay the same. They have to fulfill the targets, but it means more breathing space for industry. It means also more clarity, and without changing the agreed targets.
Lastly, in Europe, Financial Times also reported this week that Chinese state-owned GAC has looked to localize production in the EU following their tariffs of up to 45%. Trump's administration may look to this as their goalpost for their efforts. In other news, flying cars have made significant advancements this week. Orlando International Airport confirmed plans to allow flying cars by 2028. The Orlando mayor has been collaborating with the FAA to bring this vision to life. The new plan includes the installation of a vertiport, featuring dedicated launch and landing pads for electric air taxis. In lighter news, Mercedes and Audi went on social media with some interesting teasers for each other this week. Here's the original post from Mercedes, and here's the response from Audi. Into the "they just can't make it right" section. Audi and Volkswagen are to recall 60,000 vehicles involving their electric crossovers based on the same platform. The defect is that the vehicles may not display gear indicators properly, resulting in drivers not knowing whether they have engaged parking. Volkswagen are to also recall 177,000 SUVs for a loose engine cover starting this week. The fix is relatively simple for this. Lastly, the Ford Maverick is undergoing multiple recalls for software issues, including for previously incorrectly installed recall fixes. Finally, looking at our releases and discontinuations monitor. Starting with discontinuations, Nissan closed its order books for the last time for the GT-R, ending 18 years of production including 2 facelifts. Maserati discontinued the unreleased EV version of its MC20 supercar as the brand had detected very limited demand for the vehicle. Now in releases, the LFA successor called the LFR has been spotted again in testing this week. It is to feature a V8 hybrid system rather than the screaming V10 tuned by Yamaha in the LFA. Despite this, it is still a sleek looking supercar. Ford is rumoured to release the GT500 version of its new Mustang. The model will be set for 2026 and is going to use a less powerful version of the engine used in the $300,000 GTD. A new 911 Turbo has been spotted on the roads of Colorado this week with very minimal camouflage. It is suspected to carry a hybrid powertrain and will release sometime this year. A brand called Lanzante is building a supercar with inspiration from the McLaren F1. This comes after McLaren's own successor in the W1, as well as a previously inspired model called the Golden Murray T50. AMG is set to release an electric supercar to lead its upcoming electric car products that has been recently revamped to discontinue the EQ series. Not much is known about the supercar at this stage other than the concept model shown on screen. The new Mercedes GLC class in its EV form has been spotted for testing. In more affordable news, the cheapest EV from Toyota has launched in China called the Bozhi. Volkswagen has shown off its ID Everyone concept this week. This is the long-awaited entry-level model to its electric range. The problem is that the release date for the production model will be set all the way in 2027, which is very late considering the competitive landscape. Audi teased images of the S version of its A5 sedan, which is actually a successor to the A4. Now, that was all for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and please look forward to weekly videos on an ongoing basis. On that bombshell, goodbye.